Professor Dr. Walter Nkwi, what an honor to be with you today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to this important interview.
Thank you, Mr. Chubunga.
My dear viewers, we are here for a very important assignment. I'm here to interview Professor Dr. Walter Nkwi. We call him Professor Peruse, those of us who passed through him. Those of us who passed in Bishop Morgan College, he was a history teacher. And I'm going to come back to why we used to call him Professor Peruse. So my dear viewers, today I'm here for a very, we as students of Professor Walter growing up, we knew a little about him. But with time, I have come to discover the fruitfulness and the productivity that he has been able to accomplish. That was why I was inspired to drive all the way from Oklahoma to come here again for the second time to conduct this important interview so that we could be inspired. I was so inspired, Professor Nkwi, when I went through all you've done, your works. And that's why I said, oh, I can't miss this opportunity to meet you, Fachem at Fachem again, in a very calm atmosphere so that you could share with us the secrets of all your successes. To begin with, Professor Walter Nkwi, could you tell us about your family background?
Yeah, every human being should talk about the family.
Exactly.
And before I go into the background, I want to thank you so much for taking the sacrifice to drive for 12 hours, to come down to Indiana, New Albany, Eliza, to talk with me. I think it gives me, first of all, the pleasure, and it gives me, secondly, the gratification to see calling my academic kids already becoming adults. Tells me one thing: I'm going to retire.
You're still looking young.
To go retire. Yeah, family background. Yes, I am the son. I'm told.
Okay.
That I'm the son.
Yes.
Of Henry Gam. Henry Gam was born on the 20th of January, Wednesday, 20th of January, 1931.
Okay.
He just clocked 93.
Oh, wow.
And my mother was Beatrice Nange, born, I think, 20th of February, 1944.
Okay. Yes.
My grandfather was Antonius Mbang, and my paternal grandmother actually died at infancy, but her sister took my father up. That was Odilia Yu.
Okay.
And then my grandmother is Anna Ayunchwa, my maternal grandmother, who is now living in Bafusam. She fled the wars.
Oh, I see.
So I'm the second in a house of 9 siblings. One was consumed by the Amazonian War in 2018. It's already peace. And they have 3 sisters, 6 boys. So now it's 3 sisters, 5 boys. I'm the immediate follower of Oliver, who has been called into Christ's vineyard, Reverend Father Oliver. Directly behind me was Lambert, RIP.
Okay.
Since 2018.
I see.
Then you have Candida, you have Emanuela, you have Charles, you have Matilda, you have Cornelius, you have Pascal.
Oh, wow.
That is the shop family.
I see.
And so I was really born in the rural Ginicom. Because I grew up in Ginicom, and very close to the hospital and very close to the convent. My father worked in the convent as a florist.
Okay.
And I usually call him a yardman.
I see.
I visited him all the time.
Why did you call him a yardman?
No, of course. The best way to understand it, he was working in the yard.
Exactly.
So I went to my uncle.
Yeah.
My maternal uncles were all around me.
Okay.
I think the most touchy of all my maternal uncles was Chia Joseph.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Chiajede was a hunter
Oh,
and a fisherman.
I see.
And I go with him for hunting and I go with him for fishing.
Oh, interesting.
But he had this charisma. She had the charisma of attracting children.
Okay.
Yes, always he attracted children until he died. He died not very old, but he died.
Children love to be around.
A lot around him. If he came to our compound, all of us slept on his bed.
Oh.
We slept with him on the same bed.
Okay.
He had it all around him.
Wow.
So I would always like follow him for hunting, I always like follow him for fishing.
I see.
And I grew up in this rural neighborhood. Yes, knowing what it means to eat cold fufu in the morning.
Okay.
With pears.
Wow. I see.
Bananas, very cool.
Okay.
All sort of things. And then going to visit my grandmother,
yeah,
who was a very big disciplinarian.
Okay.
Very interested in cooking very good food, meat.
Wow.
She would cook the meat all plus maggots inside, and we are eating. Then she would get us trashed all the time.
Oh really?
You never made the joke around my nanny.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was very serious.
Yeah, she was very big disciplinarian. But we always came to her.
Okay.
Because of meat.
I see.
Yeah. So that's it. I think that is a brief family background, as I can remember. I can just simply tell you that is how it is.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Before you continue, I would like to tell our viewers that you were nicknamed Peruse in Bishop Wogan College because you used that word in one of the on a Friday. You said you were Peruse in the shops, and you noticed that some people had not given back their books. Then when Form 3, I still remember, I was 13 years old, 13, 14. So we had never heard the word Peruse before. So we were inspired by your high level of grammar, not grammar, vocabulary. That's something I have to say here very, very openly, that you inspired us to really high academic standards. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to mention that.
Yeah.
And Emile Claude has always been saying, until he tells me this sentence I'll never forget: disgusted by the luxurious lives of many monks, St. Francis of Assisi decided to live a celibate life, which you mentioned in one of your classes. So the students still are really fond of you. You made mention of your grandfather. No, I don't know who was your grandfather, who was very fond. Kids were fond of him.
You're my uncle.
Your uncle. You look exactly like your uncle.
Yeah.
Because we are very fond of you.
Yeah.
We are very fond of being with you.
Maybe I have that gene.
You do have it. You do have it.
Yeah. Interestingly.
Yes.
If you teach and you don't impact, you are not taught.
Okay. You need to impact.
When you teach and you don't impact, you don't inspire.
Yes.
Pack your bags and go. You can work groundnuts, you can work sugar cane.
Okay.
You are not fit for teaching. You are not fit for teaching.
So teaching.
And before I started teaching, I had my material. No,
you were well versed.
I mastered my material.
You still remember?
Yes, I mastered my
you
material.
taught without using any book.
And to master the material,
yeah,
it's organic.
Okay.
I remember going to Government High School, Kumu, and they were advertising books in the press book.
Okay.
I went to press book as a student. The book that caught my attention was Genuine Intellectual by Ben Nkwi.
Okay.
And I bought that book for 100 francs.
Wow. This is in the 70s.
The 80s, man.
80s.
That was late 80s, 1986 or so. August 86 or 87.
Oh, interesting.
Ben Nkwi had just died.
Okay.
Ben Nkwi had just died. And I experienced the burial.
Wow.
Ben Nkwi in Kumu.
Okay.
Which actually rained goats and hippopotamus.
I was told.
Yeah, because it was called in Banso traditional titles. He was the fire of Junjuf.
Exactly.
The fire of water.
The
fire of water because he had lobbied and the Canadian government had given water to him. And the day of the burial actually proved that man was the fire of water.
Okay.
He fell.
The cats and dogs.
No, goats and hippopotamus.
Okay.
Goats and hippopotamus.
Wow. You are blessed to be there.
Yeah, so I was there. I remember how rain touched me that day. Rain actually touched me that day because I didn't even have an umbrella.
1986.
Yes, I was already following on my mission into government school, Kumu.
Okay.
And so, when school started, and we were advertising these books. I prefer to buy this book, which was my money for lunch to eat in school.
Can you imagine?
That book costed me 100 pounds.
Yes.
I still have the book today.
Wow.
And this is one of the books that really gave or put a foundation in me. What is the idea about genuine intellectual?
Yes.
Fulham has studied in Sorbonne. Fulham has studied in Ireland.
Yes.
Fulham had read a lot about Cardinal Newman, who also inspired him.
Yes.
And Fulham knew a lot about the French system of education and the Anglo-Saxon education. And Fulham was studying at the time, I think in Ireland, when students were striking in Europe. A lot of strikes, especially the French system. In Canada, they were blowing up lecture halls. But what was happening in England? Students were striking in England, not because of curricula, but because the gate of the university was looking like the gate of a jailhouse. And so he moves on this premise to really tell the reader what is a genuine intellectual and what is a university. What is the truth?
That's true.
The hallmark of metaphysics, the fountain of our knowledge. And then I follow move from chapter to chapter. Chapter to chapter. It stung me like a hippodemic.
And spoke about the library, that any university without a library.
No, any university without a library, without a bookshop.
Exactly.
Without a bookshop, it doesn't need to be.
Yes.
The trinity of a university. Yes.
Wow.
So I read Benafolo when I was really tender. Really tender. I read Benafolo in Lower Sea.
Wow.
I read Benafolo in Lower Sea.
Yes.
And when I started reading literature, at the time, unfortunately, we were not doing African literature in the high school. I think I read Hard Times by Charles Dickens. Yeah, I read this novel by Henry Fielding and Joseph Andrews. And so whenever I picked a novel, I looked behind the blurb. What does critics say about this book? And then this teacher, I remember there was this teacher who died. He's of late, so rest in peace. Peter King's Munyong. Peter King Munyong had asked us a question in literature in Hard Times. And I quoted Anthony Trollope, who was the greatest critic of Charles Dickens. When he came to class, he asked after me, and I stood up. He did not believe it.
Wow.
Somebody in Lower Sea was talking about Anthony Trollope, which he had heard it at the university. So I got this inspiration of not really sounding high, but sounding academic.
You've always sounded academic.
Sound academic. All right. And to talk to kids who all of them have a dream, they want to learn.
Exactly.
You must capture their attention. Don't use what they already know. How will they build their vocab? Don't use what I remember the applause when I stood in front of the library. And I said that Peruse over the library records, and most of them are still in library books. And I was giving a deadline for the books to came to be returned to the library. I remember how much applause and how much the hysteria. The assembly went.
The whole were in commotion.
There was total commotion.
I never heard that word.
There was total commotion. And
we went to a dictionary to check.
I got the nickname Peruse. But that is the tradition and the culture of any single-sex school or any secondary school. You can't go through without a nickname.
No, you can't.
You don't have a nickname, then you're not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be in that school.
There's something wrong with you. Thank you, Prof, for that wonderful background of your academic backbone. Let's go to your current position. Tell me about your current position at the University of Leiden in the Netherlands.
Oh my God. That is another very interesting one.
Yes, Professor.
in Leiden, I'm an associate professor.
Yes, Professor.
I'm honorary professor in University of KwaZulu-Natal.
Okay.
And,
KwaZulu Natal, yes.
yes, but I'm really based in Leiden. I'm in staff
In Leiden.
in KwaZulu Natal.
Okay.
Yes, I mean the staff list.
Where is that found so that
In
our viewers can know?
Republic of South Africa.
Republic of South Africa.
KwaZulu
Yes.
Natal is in Howard campus.
Okay.
Yes,
I
so
see.
I'm an honorary professor there. And I really became an honorary professor in KwaZulu Natal in 2 years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago. In Leiden,
Yes, Professor.
where I am, I actually got my PhD in Leiden.
Okay, in history.
Way back in 2011 in history.
Oh, wow.
Way back. And Leiden is reputed. I don't hear my chest. It's a reputable university.
And celebrated, yes.
It's really in humanities.
Okay.
In humanities. Leiden is a top shot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really a top shot.
I see.
Leiden was opened in 1575.
Wow, can you imagine?
Yeah, Leiden was opened in 1575 because of the role Leiden played in fighting the Spaniards that were invading the Netherlands.
Okay.
Now, the royal house decided to give the University of Leiden to Leiden metropolis as a gift, as a dash.
Okay.
That is how University of Leiden came into being.
I see.
So it's all really about history.
Wow.
Even Leiden, public history in Leiden is very visible.
Okay.
You see Johan Huizinga, the Dutch cultural historian, Joseph Lipsus.
Okay.
Then you get it, and then just a few 1.2 kilometers or so, you have African Studies Center,
Okay.
Africa Studies Central,
Yes.
which was opened in 1947.
That's long ago.
Good, yeah.
Oh.
And so I did my PhD there. I did my PhD on a very interesting topic.
Yes.
We'll go
Could
into
we
that.
not? Okay, we're going to that.
I did my PhD on the history of communication technologies.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
And in 2019,
Yeah.
there was a vacancy.
Okay.
At the time, I was in Oxford. I was a visiting fellow in Oxford.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Attached to the Department of Anthropology, Social Anthropology, and Museum Studies.
Okay.
So, all right, I applied.
Yes, Prof.
I was shortlisted for interview, which is the first step.
Yes.
45 of us ran for the job. I was
Large
shortlisted.
number.
Because of visa problems, very difficult to get visa at
Exactly.
the time to come over to the Netherlands because England had moved out of Brexit.
Exactly. Oh, it made things complicated.
So I got to Oxford. Now they gave me a whole hall, old visual hall for the interview.
Okay.
I was interviewed there. Was interviewed. All right. I told them, no problem. I'm not doubting that I'm fit for the job.
You're very.
But I'm not saying that you should. I'm not imposing myself on you.
No.
But if you don't employ me, it means that you don't have confidence for your products. Because I'm a
product of Leiden, of course.
And I know the corners of Leiden.
Okay.
Anybody that you bring me. Before I reached my house, I got a phone call.
Okay.
What was the phone call?
You have been accepted.
Exactly. We have offered you the job.
Oh, wow.
I told myself that people had no option. People had no option. And then I learned a lesson.
Yes, so
never go for job interview with a cap in the hand.
Okay. With
Never.
a cap?
In the hand.
Exactly. Why would people even do that?
Oh, this is what I Oliver call it.
Because people go very formally.
No, when you go for a job,
yes,
the job is for you to prove that you can do the job.
Okay.
You don't go to look for a job by saying that, oh no, I'm not got a job for the past 5 years, for the 5 years I would like, if you give me a job. No, prove that you can deliver.
Exactly.
And tell the person sitting at the other end or the CEO of the company that what you can do. And then you don't bother, you don't take it, you don't bother. So
don't give the impression that
I tell my students all the time.
Okay.
Don't go, I learned my lesson. Don't go for a job.
Yes.
As if you are going to beg for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So effectively in 2019, I think I started teaching in Leiden. And I was teaching Africa political economy.
Okay.
Yes. Africa political economy was to teach students about Africa economies and how the Western powers have infringed in Africa, and how is Africa actually becoming underdeveloped.
Okay.
My main aim was to give an Afrocentric view and more closer to the Marxists. What is Africa? Why is Africa not developing?
Exactly.
Why are people like IMF, International World Bank, why is it that all this nonsense that they bring down to Africa, why can it not work? First of all, they look at Africa to be a homogeneous continent. What can obtain for Nigeria will not obtain for Cameroon. IMF has one package.
Yes, for all.
This Africa package, one size fits all.
Exactly.
It cannot work in Africa.
No.
It can't work in Africa.
Okay. Interesting.
My students really appreciate. They were more than students from Bishop. Oh my God.
Wow.
I think they did the job.
Okay.
They were really, really happy. Really happy.
Good.
And so that is how I started. That is how I started. Went on. I think now I'm still there. It's a bit of really job satisfaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that, Professor.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that. So you've spoken to us about what you teach. So tell us about your areas of research interest.
Oh,
you are an erudite researcher.
You've
researched and written countless articles. Could you just briefly?
I want to tell this man I'm an interview.
Okay.
Yeah. Research.
Yes, Prof.
Is a very, very interesting. It's a very, very interesting. Call it aspect
of our life.
Intellectual nourishment. It's always about seeking to know. Because the truth is a fountain of all knowledge. If I can quote Cardinal Toomey.
Yeah.
We always keep on seeking for the truth.
The truth.
We might not have it, but we look for it. We look for it. Research is like wooing a woman. This is Mary.
Yes.
Mary loves roasted fish in Down Beach, Limbe, for example, which is very French.
Yes.
George wants Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And George comes and takes Mary that they should go and eat beans and pop-off.
Mary will not want to go.
She will not want to go. She hasn't gotten anything in you.
That's true.
Joseph comes and says, let's go and eat pork. No, not again.
No.
And then Walter comes and says, let us go down beach and eat fish. This is the man I want.
Okay.
This is the man I want. So there is some sort of something always incomplete in research. You always read and you see that this person has left out something which you can want to feel. Something is happening now which you want to historicize. So around the first decade of the 21st century was actually a decade of rapid communication technology. It was a time that the cell phone, it was a time that the internet, it was a time that the world was really becoming a village, compressed. And there was this team group in Leiden that was working on ICTs and technology. Okay. These are all anthropologists.
Yeah.
And I sent in my proposal to historicize technology.
Okay. Interesting.
To also see what is it that technology does. What is technology, by the way? What is it, by the way? Okay. So, in a way, technology connects.
Yes.
Technology is progress. And I decided to take up not internet, not hard drives,
okay,
not softwares, not hardwares, not computers, but another form of unconventional technologies. The question I asked myself was, when people go to church, they come out as Christians.
Yeah.
When you go to Detroit, car assembly plant, it brings out cars. When people go to church, they're baptized, they come out as Christians.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It is.
So I took the church as a technology.
Okay.
The church is a technology in itself. Then, when people go to school, they're taught how to read and write, and they come out literate. So school is a technology.
Interesting.
If technology connects one end to the other,
Yes.
if I sit down here and I'm calling somebody in Boya, I'm calling somebody in Minnesota, we are connected. Therefore, in the colonial period,
Yes.
roads could be used as technology.
Technology.
Yeah. And then the motor car. The motor car.
Yes.
What happens when a technological gadget comes into a society? How do people react to it? How do people use it? You see, Ghanaians, Africans become so creative that they adapt very fast to a technological gadget.
Yes.
For example, go to Bamenda and go to Old Town, go to Ringway Street, and see the way they're butchering cars. From Japan, from Detroit. Right-hand driving is turned into left-hand driving. Shocks are elevated.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
And so people had different ways of calling cars, different ways of calling motorcycles. And so people adapt, appropriate, and make use in their context.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So technology has no meaning if people cannot appropriate it, if people cannot give it life from their own way of understanding.
Interesting.
Okay, if you go to the Fulanis,
Yes.
I happen to work with some Fulanis in South.
Okay.
What would they call a telephone, a cell phone? Telephone Jaconde. Telephone Jaconde is a telephone with the legs.
Okay.
It walks. Well, it delivers messages.
Messages.
In traditional Bamenda, we have Wamabu.
I see.
Wamabu runs as fast as it can
Okay.
to deliver messages.
Is it a messenger?
It's a real messenger.
Okay, yes.
It's a real messenger.
That goes around.
Yes. Yes. So you start to find people giving these type of names, they're not useless. That's a particular reason. That was the beginning of my research.
Oh.
And I carved out come where I was born. Charity begins at home.
At home, of course.
And I interviewed close to 150 people on various aspects, how they understood development, how they understood technology. And the most interesting thing that cut across was how they saw modernity. Modernity that has been given birth by, call it the Western theories, and they make as if there was never a modernity in Africa. Everything that must come down from the north. Some people understood modernity. They understood technology as fun. So that is the title of my thesis, Fun with its Technologies.
Okay.
History of social mobility in Cameroon, 1928 to 1998.
Wow. Interesting.
I think that was my masterpiece.
Wow.
I took 1928 because the first primary school in Ginicom was opened in 1928. Ginicom became a parish in 1927.
Wow, very, very.
Yes, with Reverend Father Leonard Jacobs, Nihil priest from Holland.
Okay.
Then Leo Underwater came in. So they opened that school in 1928. And in 1998, the road from Bamenda to Kong was tarred.
Okay. Wow.
And the fun of Kong even had to go to Bamenda to visit the Kong community.
Okay. Wow.
Now from there, you start to see the Kong diaspora. You start to see how people connect